Hey YouTube, just a quick video. I just want to say one thing. I was very, very, very wrong about our boy Paracausalist here. I've been sitting around thinking since the last video I made of him with the Flesh Busters. And then I looked at his kit a little bit closer, and, well, and after some debate and talk in the modded Darkest Dungeon Discord community, and a couple comments saying, "Whoa, this guy went pretty hard. He went 110%," and so on and so forth. And I looked at his skills a little bit more closely. Now, he's only got a 4 to 7 weapon base, but he's got decent health. He's got 5 base dodge. He is pretty decently quick. And his resist, it could be a little bit better, but he's got a 100% trap disarm. And his camp skills are really good. So let me cover those first real quick. Tread panning. Minus 40 stress. 50% chance to take 10% and 5% HP damage. Potentially that can be 15%. And all companions plus 8 and 4 stress, 50% chance each. Well, yes, he'll stress out the party, and that's a reoccurring theme of his. But this stuff's minus 40 stress here for only a 1 cost. That's not bad. Let me move on over to here. A time cost 2 for 20% scout chance. Knowledge is prevention, and prevention is victory in Darkest Dungeon. Knowing where your enemies are and preventing surprises, and knowing when you're going to get into a fight, very big. Scouting chance for only 2 costs, 20%, that's very good too. And now, scientific explanation. 4 time costs, a little pricey, but for the entire party, all companions, minus 20% stress taken for 4 battles. That's pretty damn good. And then we get to the meat and potatoes, for only a 3 time cost. Stealth only plus 2 speed, which is good, and range skills plus 20% damage. That's not bad. That's pretty decent. When you compare that, when you look at a Plague Doctor is giving you 20% damage for the battle. He is gaining 20% to his skills, and that's all he does is range skills. For 4 battles. For free. For just 3 time cost. And you can stack that with Plague Doctor. I'm only using vanilla characters as a reference point here. That's also pretty good. On top of that, I'm going to skip all his skills and focus right on here. Electroplasmic Overcharge. He self-stresses and he blights himself, and this can kick you in the balls if you're not planning around it. But if you're planning for him to be a damage dealer, and you have party support already amping up his damage, and you have, say, a jester or have ways to mitigate his stress, buff self plus 27% damage. This is a level 2 skill, plus 7 crit. That, remind you, 27%, 20%. That's a near 50% increase for a free action and a camp skill. And if you have a Plague Doctor, that's about 60%. No, almost 70%. Excuse me. That's 70% damage going across for very little investment. That's without counting any trinkets in his toolkit. He wants more accuracy buff more than anything. Because Nuclear Protonic Ray, it reduces the it has a negative damage modifier of 20 or 19%. I think it actually decreases. Let me check real quick in the guild hall. I can check this one. Yeah. Unlock his skills. Let's look at old Carnet here, since he's a base. So yeah, his damage modifier decreases when it levels up, it seems. So it goes from minus 20% to minus 19%. I don't understand it, but he debuffs himself for minus 40% damage. Yes, this is true. It's doing 15% damage extra to ectomorphs, and only ectomorphs only spawn in the ruins. Yes, this is true. And it only has a 70 accuracy. Yes, that's also true. Now, 4 crit, 7 crit, on top of an already 5% base crit. Alright? Do the math. That's 9 right there, just from base. That becomes 16. 16% crit, just sitting there, looking at you. That's not bad. Give him a focus ring. That's more crit. That's more accuracy that he wants. Use a Jester in the party, which you already should be doing with him because he wants stress relief. Use Battle Ballad. That's more... You don't have to worry about accuracy anymore. There you go. You're blasting 3 enemies. You use Overcharge and his tend to the engine, and you use a Plague Doctor. You take the 20% damage modifier off. You're blasting 3 enemies for 50% of his damage modifier. Now, sure, it's only 4 to 7. But you can throw a legendary bracer on to mitigate that and hit him even harder. This dude, you don't plan a party around him. You don't count on him to be your damage dealer, but you give him a little bit of support, just a little bit, he will pull his weight in a party. Because Darkest Dungeon is a team building game, and he will pull his weight. As I've seen, I was rewatching my video of Flashbusters. This guy really pulled his weight. More than I thought he would. I was stupid. I was an idiot. That video I made, Paracausalist woes and impressions, where I'm just constantly shitting on him, improperly using him, and not building around him. He performed terribly. But this time, I changed my approach with Fleshbusters, and I properly build the team around this kit. Now, I didn't, now granted, I was using, Goblin Huntress and stuff like that. I had a couple stacked units in that team, but still, the Paracausalist I had only had, a 10% damage increase with one trinket, or with one quirk. And he wasn't running any damage increasing trinkets. I gave him accuracy buffs. He had the Plague Doctor equivalent of the 20% from Vapors with Cobalt Surge, and I was using Tend to the Engine and Electroplasmic Overcharge. He was hitting pretty hard. Really respectively hard. Plus, there's one skill I have not accounted for in this entire discussion. I'm not just talking about his damage. This right here. Go lay your cage. Look at that accuracy. Shuffles. 1 round. Shuffles the group. The most annoying mechanic that can be applied to you, he applies to the enemy team. The entire enemy team. The entire enemy team stresses himself for 10 stress. Allies plus 7, 5, 3, sure, it stresses the whole party and himself, but look at the debuff. Minus 23% damage and minus 6 speed. It's balanced out by the fact he is stressing himself out so much. But you also have to take into account for this. He has a trinket that can increase his virtue chance by plus 25%. And it's only a rare trinket? Or a rare... Yeah, it's a rare trinket. Now, probably his most questionable skill is Scanner Scope. Bypass, Stealth, De-Stealth, Debuff, Move Resist, and Dodge. This is specifically good for the Ectomorphs and maybe a couple maybe a couple modded enemies. Paracausalist, his use gets better with more. Not better, but he becomes more relevant with more modded enemies you add to your save. Now, Scanner Scope with just his enemies and base game, it's not a good skill. It's probably his weakest skill. I'll admit that. But Nuclear Protonic Ray, even after you use it once, it can still hit pretty decently. Short Control Burst, plus 7 crit. Debuff target, -2 speed. That's not bad. And look at the accuracy. It's going to hit. That's pretty good. Not bad. This is a free action. Sure, he blights himself, just take more anti-venom. 7 crit and 27% damage. Nuts. Now, another questionable skill he has, his pull. Pull 2, plus 5 crit. He shuffles himself. Pretty debuffs the target he pulls, -6. This is a bit of a... kind of like with Scanner Scope, this is a little bit of a, maybe skill. I mean, it's okay, but when you get lucky with it, it's not bad. You taking a target in 3 or 4 and bringing them up to the front. Honestly, I would rather use this. It doesn't touch himself, but it comes with a negative effect of, well, shuffle himself. Not only is this debuffing, it's shuffling the group. You have to remember that. And then, you know, Photonic Flash Flare. It's okay. It's better than Scanner Scope. You can throw them in rank 1, blast them with this. It doesn't do any damage. It debuffs their accuracy and their speed. This is probably what I would use in like a dance party or something like that. So it could be worse, could be better. It's okay. But these 4 skills right here are probably what I would use in a standard loadout for him. Without a doubt. Do I have any of his trinkets on the save? I don't think I do. Hey, I was just sitting here... Yeah, this is the trinket I was talking about. Boom. Spirit Guide, plus 20% virtue chance. Plus 25% stress relief received. He takes 15% more stress and takes away 15% max HP, but who cares? Virtue chance. If you get him to virtue, oh, he's great. I mean, sure, it's a gamble, but that seems to be a reoccurring theme with a couple of his skills. Tether, Cage, and well, that's it. Just Tether, Cage, and his camp skills kind of have that slight risk factor to them. But hey, he's good. I just want to say I was wrong. I was delightfully wrong with him. So yeah, try out Paracausalist today. You won't regret it. Anyways, guys, this is the Soaring Helmet. I'm signing off. I'm also taking the old impressions video I had of the Paracausalist and unlisting it from YouTube, because I don't want to have a video of me shitting on this class when I was actually clearly in the wrong. Because I was in the wrong, and I still am. In retrospect to a lot of other modded classes that exist, he is weak compared to them. But you compare him to a vanilla class, he fits right in. And that's how you should gauge the balance of a modded class. Not by the effectiveness of other modded classes, but by the effectiveness of the vanilla class in comparison to himself. And in that aspect, he is just a Ruins version of Flagellant, with more stress. Now, what really makes him broken, and honestly, it pushes him up very high in the tiers for me, would be this move in particular. Look how long that freaking tooltip is. Anyways, I said it already, but this has been the Soaring Helmet. I'm signing off. Another video coming out later today. I'll see you guys when I see you. Bye.